Hi, this is Chris Grimm, and it's Deep Work Fast, which means I'm going to bring a concept to you that I want you to think about, spend some time on, and hopefully make some change that helps you be better at work and home. Let's jump in this week. The focus is how to get to know and trust your new bestie, or one that's actually been with you your whole life, but you may not know your inner voice, your intuition, your gut instinct, or maybe you think that only happens at special times once in a blue moon. It's with you all the time. It is constantly trying to help you make your best decisions and oftentimes avoid a lot of drama and headache. But most people aren't functioning in a way that allows that to be heard or felt. So I want to talk about it because in my coaching, oftentimes, as many of you know, because I've coached you, we are focused on the day to day, the blocking and tackling, the issues on your team and in your home. And what you might notice is that all day, every day, we are focusing on what our current roles and agreements require of us. That would be normal and appropriate, right? The problem, though, with that is that the frantic pace, the distractions, all the things that if you have been at Deep Work Fast with me or I've coached you, we talk about, right? Our normal life, when it's on that high speed, day to day, go, 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 it is highly reliant upon the two parts of our brain that are very, very action oriented. Now, I don't want you to get rid of your sense of urgency. I'm not asking you not to be action oriented. I'm really advocating for you to have some balance and to get to know that voice that is more subtle and often way wiser than the brain that has to get things done. So, first of all, why is that? Well, our identity, which is role based, right, and agreement based, like I said, oftentimes has a lot of to dos or tangible activity to prove to each other that we're doing the stuff and fulfilling all our obligations to each other. Think about it. That's what our lives are. It's a lot of doing. I'm not necessarily saying that's okay, but for today, let's just stay in reality, right? And because doing is highly reliant on our left brain, that linear brain that keeps us moving through our to-do lists and our action items and helping us make decisions, taking all the data that we have coming at us, and that amygdala, which is the part of our brain that is it's our primal brain. It is scanning the environment for threats. We are fear-based animals. We are also habitual in nature. We want to control our environment. We want to reduce the amount of threats. Believe it or not, if you don't know how your body works, that kind of go, 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 go level of stress and anxiety for most people of getting stuff done all the time, always anticipating that, and also scanning the environment for threats is super stressful on our body. It's also kind of trains us or has trained us to pay attention to that voice in our head that is dedicated to getting all that stuff done and moving at a really fast pace. So while that might help you be successful in your career, and even in your home, if your home is filled with lots of activity, like maybe your kids play a lot of sports and, you just all have a lot going on, that would be the way most of us live. The problem with that is that slowing down to hear that more subtle internal voice is difficult for most people. Like you have to learn it, you have to do it on purpose. Now, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because, and I don't know what it is that's happening on the earth at the moment that's causing this, but I do feel like more and more people are finding that constant go, go, go doesn't feel great to them anymore. They're feeling more dissatisfied. For many people, they're also experiencing that the old ways of working aren't working anymore. So all that go, go, go effort and energy, listening to that voice that's worried about stress, prevention, control, and also getting stuff done, isn't getting you the results that you used to get anymore. So I thought, let's have a conversation about this. And instead of doing it one-on-one with each of you, I thought I would bring it to Deep Work Fast, where we can have a conversation about learning to trust that inner voice. And before you can trust it, you have to know how to access it. You have to know how to know when it is talking to you, because it isn't always completely concerned, if you will, with the to-do list and all of the crazy and the chaos that might be going on in the outside world. Um, and so it can actually help you. Here's some benefits to learning to do this. And I had to learn how to do it. So I'm going to tell you a story in a few minutes that is hopefully for you, will illustrate what I'm talking about really clearly. When you learn how to balance your reliance on both your intuition, or sometimes that is called your gut instinct, and your linear go, go, go way of being, you will, I promise, make better decisions. You will not only make a better decision, but your judgment, your thinking about the topics and the way you are judging what's right and wrong, and your adherence to your values, if you will, that get you the best outcomes will be better. I promise, when your intuition and your gut is involved. You will make less fear-based decisions, which is what happens when we're go, 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 and that trigger, that stress trigger comes where we're preventing and controlling things. Those are fear-based responses, right? If you're trying to prevent something from happening or unwind a conflict, we're doing that usually out of fear. And like I said, it'll be less frantic, less panicky, less anxiety inducing. So first you have to know how to do this. And so first and foremost, I want you to spend some time observing your version of this story. Note that the voices sound different. And when you slow down enough, you will notice this, right? So our everyday voice, sometimes I call it the sock puppet, or the voice that's driving us all day, every day, that is, like I told you, attached to your identity, attached to your ego, attached to your job, attached to all the stuff that you have to do. That tends to be, like I said, it tends to be loud. And it gets louder, right, in your head when you're approaching a deadline, or you've missed something, or you're really stressed about it. It wants to take over, so that it can get control of the situation and right it. It tends to take a lot of energy too from you, right? It doesn't want you to spend time thinking about other things. And that's why sometimes we call what's happening in our brain when we're swirling around about things, worrying, ruminating, call it a monkey mind. It was coined a monkey mind because if you think about, if you went to the zoo or something, or you see a National Geographic with a bunch of monkeys and they're hopping up all over the tree and chirping at each other, that's what happens in your brain when you've got a to-do list of 25 things and 3 or 4 of them are on fire, or at least you believe they are, because something's not going right, or you've had a conflict with people over it, or all of a sudden you're predicting that it's going to fail. Or maybe you have already made some decisions out of poor judgment and it is going sideways, right? So the monkey mind takes over and it's trying to get control, and it's trying to help you find the best course of action quickly. Now, the other voice, let's just focus on this, oftentimes isn't really a voice at all. It is a subtle inner knowing that can be what we call the gut instinct, right? I'm sure you've had those moments where you say, I just went with my gut, right? I interviewed that person and I just knew they were the right fit. Or I felt it, that person's not going to be a good fit. Like their resume's right, but my gut's telling me they're not going to be great for my team, right? That's just like a knowing on the inside of you. And to be able to feel the sensations of intuition, and sometimes kind of hear or perceive the message it's trying to give to you, you can't be in a state of chaos. It doesn't work. It doesn't compete really well with that other crazy monkeyness. I'll tell you a story about when we used to live in Colorado. We did for about 6 years. So I was commuting every week. My kids were young. We were super busy, and I was nuts. I was crazy. And the reason for that is because I was traveling so much and trying to juggle everything, like many of you probably are too. I was just go, 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 go all the time and super reliant on that monkey mind, right? Always to-do lists and craziness and trying to process things and moving. And so what I wasn't able to do most of the time was listen to my intuition. Now it's interesting because I look back, because when I started to pay attention to it, and I'm not really sure how, I think it was an accident. Maybe the universe whacked me on the head, but I started to notice that I was having these moments where, like, when I was I'll tell you one that I remember all the time and I share with people. So you've probably heard this story if I coach you, where I was packing for a trip, which I was always doing. My suitcase was always just being rotated. And I passed by in the bathroom, probably inside the cabinet, the cold medicine. And something on the inside of me said, take the medicine. And I was like, take the medicine. And I kept moving. I did not touch that medicine because my rational brain, in charge, go, 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 was like, you're not getting sick. We don't have time to get sick. And we can always buy medicine. I was going to Las Vegas for a conference, by the way. So the last thing I wanted was cold medicine. Why would I take cold medicine? So I didn't take it. I get to Vegas. And by the way, I didn't get sick, but somebody else did. One of my colleagues got sick and was really, really down with a horrible cold. This was before COVID. Stuck in the hotel room for days, couldn't participate. So what happened? The rest of us went and bought medicine and delivered it to Sickie in the room. And you bet that at one point in time when I'm standing in line at CVS buying medicine, or in the hotel store, which was probably like cost 3 or 4 times what the medicine cost in a normal store, I was like, are you kidding me? That inner voice told me to bring medicine. And I just blew it off. And then, because that was in my awareness, a couple months later, I'm working on a project. And I start to feel inside that the sense of urgency I have about getting this client project done for some reason isn't right. Like, I'm like, something's happening. But you know what I did? Like everybody else, I kept jamming to the deadline, doing what they were paying me to do, never questioning it. And about 3 weeks into us driving like crazy people to get this done, the boss, who, by the way, was highly invested in what we were doing, there were no indicators that I know that we were slowing down or things were going to stop, pulled the plug on the project for a whole bunch of really good strategic reasons. But all that energy and effort that we did, and money and time, right, that we put in for the 3 weeks, that if I would have listened to my intuition telling me to put on the brakes, telling me something was coming, maybe asked some different questions, like paused and said, knock, knock, knock. Hey, boss, do you think that there's any chance that we might be slowing down on this? I know you said go, 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 but something's telling me that maybe we're not going to go, go, go. Would have saved us. In fact, at the time when I'm telling you this story, it's been years now, but I remember thinking, here's another one of these moments where I knew, but I didn't trust myself. I was so invested in the go, go, go chaos and that voice that tends to be the one we trust the most in our day jobs and in our homes to get stuff done, doesn't leave space for the subtle knowing to emerge. Now, fast forward. And the reason I'm talking to you about this is that the more people I work with that I can get to slow down, to pay attention to those little lights that are flashing, the indicators, those gut instincts, to take them seriously as the voice that's running the show all day, every day to get stuff done, and find some balance. Now, I know that that's not easy. So this week's blog actually has some tips for you on how to do that are very, very easy for you to try, I promise. It takes practice, right? You've got to say to yourself, I'm going to trust my gut more. And when you do that and you create space, you are going to notice that it's there all the time. That inner knowing, whatever you want to call this thing, the gut instinct, the inner knowing, the intuition, is very wise. And often, and I can't explain it, it is ahead of the game. It has synthesized everything, even things that aren't in your cognitive direct awareness, but it knows. And sometimes, like I was saying to you about the medicine and the client project, it is anticipating potentials that your other brain that's driving to the to-do list is not going to want to consider. Because if it did, it would get in the way of us getting stuff done. So you see why it needs some balance, and you need to value both. And when you learn to use them together, you will save time. You will probably save money. You will definitely have less stress. I promise this. Next time I should do a panel and interview some clients who actually do the stuff that I'm talking about, because I promise they would tell you, yeah, now that I'm listening to my gut more and balancing it with the go, 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 I am making better decisions. My team is even slowing down. We are having different conversations, making it okay to even have your team members balance with data and decision making. You know what? My instincts are telling me this. I have one client, by the way, who in their home and in their work, they actually lead those conversations with people. Like, we're just going to go around the table and I need to know, what is your gut telling you right now? What is your gut telling you right now? What is your gut? And all answers are okay. It doesn't mean in that moment we're going to change anything. Unless you go around the round table and everybody on your team is like, not feeling good, feels like we're making a bad decision, feels like the strategy's off, feels like we're halfway through the quarter and, we've spent a lot of money, time, and energy driving in this one direction, but boss, there's a reason we're not tracking right. It's a reason that the feedback that's coming back from our stakeholders is telling us that this is not going to hit. So why wait 2 quarters, 3 quarters of your business and then find out that maybe we're going to pull the plug, or it's not going to work, or we're not going to meet our results, right? Same thing's happening in your home. I promise. Go around the dinner table. I hope you have those once in a while, when we all eat dinner together. Go around, ask people, what's your gut telling you right now? Maybe it's about a specific thing, but maybe it's just about the things that are important to the people in your life. Value your intuition, listen to your gut, balance it out with that go, go, go. And I promise you're going to feel better, but you're all going to make better decisions, less wasted time, less crazy. We all need less crazy. Okay, for now, this is Chris Grimm. Thanks for joining me. The replay with this will go on and on and on forever on YouTube and other platforms. Don't forget to get the blog, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.